What's good, people? It's RFG back at it today, and we are getting ready to break down Malcolm X's natal chart. Okay, Malcolm X was born on May 19th, 1925, 10:25 p.m. in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, as we all know, very significant individual. You know what I'm saying? Basically changed the foundation of not only Pan-Africanism, but what I would call more Moorish nationalism. Okay, so like I've stated before in earlier lectures on natal charts, we want to locate Jupiter in one of 6 houses to indicate if someone is a spiritual leader or not. Okay, spiritual leaders, gurus, philosophers, those kinds of people usually have Jupiter in houses 8 to 1. Okay, all the way from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1. Okay, that is where you're gonna find Jupiter in people's charts who would be considered philosophers, spiritual gurus, spiritual leaders. Okay, so when we look at the Jupiter in Malcolm X's chart, it's in his first house. Okay, also his ascendant, his rising sign, his ascendant is in Capricorn. What does this tell us? This tells us when we first would meet a person like Malcolm X, okay, in person, we would feel Capricornian energy coming from him. Somewhat disciplined, very mature for his age, very organized, very structured. Okay, like I said, very, very disciplined, and a very serious individual, very business first, play later kind of person. This is the energy that Malcolm X gave off to people that first met him in person, because his ascendant is in Capricorn. Okay, your ascendant is who you are portrayed as on the outside. Okay, so not only that, he also had Jupiter in his first house. And what is first house? First house is our brain. First house is our face. First house is our demeanor. First house is also this house right here. First house is also how we go about starting things, how good of a leader we are. You see what I'm saying? How we go about initiating. That's the perfect word. Initiating, projects. Okay. This means that the Creator gave Malcolm X his Jupiter in the first house of initiating projects and initiating movements. Okay? Jupiter is constant expansion, never-ending expansion and fortune. Okay? This means that this individual had a presence, okay, that was surrounded with mostly positive energy, because that's what Jupiter is. Jupiter is positive expansion and fortune, and this person, Malcolm X, had that in his first house, okay, of his overall demeanor, his brain, his face, and his leadership abilities, his leadership characteristics. That is what the first house is, our leadership characteristics and how we initiate certain things, activities. Okay, he mastered that. Okay, that is seen by Jupiter in his first house. Also, he had Uranus in his second house. Uranus is the planet of rebellion, the planet of humanitarianism, the planet of revolution, the planet of innovation. Okay, so all those things I just listed were in his second house. What's his second house? Your second house is your throat chakra. The second house is your material resources that you own, the material objects that you possess physically, also the talents you possess. The second house rules your God-given talents. And one of his talents was revolutionary. Okay, being a revolutionary, being a humanitarian, being an innovator with innovative ideas. Okay, and this also rules your throat chakra. So what is coming out of this man's throat? Uranus activities. Uranus activities, right there in his natal chart. Right here, we have Moon, okay, that is smack dab right in between his third and fourth house. He has Mercury in his fourth house, okay. Technically, this right here, you see this arrow right here, this is technically part of the fourth house. So with Moon in his fourth house, that means that Malcolm X had a deep connection to the mother figure in his life, a very, very deep connection to the mother figure in his life. Okay, I guess when he was 13, his mom, something happened with his mom, and she had to go to a mental home, a psychiatric ward, and I don't think he coped too well with that. That's when I believe that he started hanging out in the streets and getting involved in criminal activity. You know, there's parts of his biography that say that he was involved, you know, with prostitution and pimping, and I believe that that was the whole start of that when, you know, his mom was forced to go into a psychiatric ward. Also, you have Sun and Venus in the fifth house. Now, this right here is probably, I want to say, yeah, this is probably the third most powerful placement in his chart. This is a very powerful placement. Ladies and gentlemen, the best planet, one of the two best planets to have in the fifth house is the Sun, because the Sun rules the fifth house. The Sun rules the fifth house. Okay? What is the fifth house? The fifth house is our heart chakra. The fifth house is our Leo characteristics. Once again, our Leo characteristics, our ability to lead. Okay? Malcolm X was a leader. Born on May 19th, 1-9 gives you 10. 1 and 0 gives you the 1, the sun. The sun energy. Okay? That's what Malcolm X had around him. That's the energy he had around him. He was a Taurus that was born on the 19th of the month, which gave him a small portion of Leo characteristics. He was also a fixed sign. Taurus is a fixed sign. He had, you know, some Leo characteristics because he was born on the 19th of the month. That is a fixed sign as well. Okay? So when a person has fixed characteristics, that means that, you know, they can be considered somewhat of extremists, because there's usually no shade to, no shade of gray pertaining to fixed signs. It's either one way or the other. So a lot of people can view fixed signs as somewhat of extremists. The fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Okay? So if an individual has a lot of planets in their fifth house, their eighth house, their 11th house, and their second house, okay, these can be very fixed individuals, very fixed-minded, fixated individuals on what they believe in, and they can be so stubborn and so fixed into what they believe that they will die for what they believe in. Okay, Malcolm X was one of those individuals. Like I said, he had Sun and Venus in his fifth house, which just intensified his Leo characteristics and intensified the power of his heart chakra. He was a man who spoke from his heart. Okay, this is why he had Sun and Venus in his fifth house. This is one of the most powerful placements you can have in your fifth house. By the looks of it, he could have also been a very successful athlete. Okay, Sun and Venus in your fifth house, that means you have mastered your Leo characteristics. Fifth house rules sports, gambling, entertainment, the limelight, childlike activities, children. Malcolm X had a lot of children, about 6, I think, 5 or 6. That is seen in his 5th house, or wherever the sun is located in your natal chart. That is going to rule the energy around your children. Okay? He also had Mars and Pluto and Lilith in his 7th house, which means that he underwent many marital problems in his life. Okay? It shows that he was either married to a Scorpio woman, an Aries woman, or a woman born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th of the month. Okay? And he underwent a lot of problems in his marriage life, in his serious relationship life. Okay? Because the sign and the house that rules, the 7th house, that is the house of serious relationships and marriage. Your marital partner is seen in the 7th house. He also has Cancer here in his 7th house, which means that his marital partner could have held Cancer energy as well. Okay? But Mars is the planet of conflict. Okay? Conflict, arguments. Also, Pluto rules death and rebirth, all or nothing, huge transformation, life transformation events seen in his 7th house. So he underwent, like I said, a lot of significant incidents in his marital life. Okay? He also had Neptune in his 8th house of his Scorpio characteristics, which means this man had a lot of intuition, a lot of spiritual intuition, okay, naturally. Because when you have Neptune in the 8th house, what does that do? That brings the 12th house of Neptune into your 8th house, which gave him plenty of intuition. This individual right here could easily tell if somebody was lying to him or somebody was trying to manipulate him, con or deceive him very easily. Okay, with Neptune in your 8th house. Okay, we also, this is amazing, we also have Saturn in his 10th house of his Capricorn characteristics. This means that this person was destined to live a Capricornian life, to have Capricorn characteristics. So this man not only mastered his Leo characteristics, but he mastered his Capricorn characteristics as well. And you can go ahead and say he mastered his Aries characteristics, because Jupiter is an area of life that we cannot fail in. He has Jupiter in his 1st house. Saturn is ruled by the 10th house, and it's in his 10th house of his Capricorn characteristics, which means his Capricorn characteristics are now mastered. And he has Sun in his 5th house. Sun rules the 5th house of Leo characteristics. His Leo characteristics are mastered. And what do we have here? The planet of revolution in his 2nd house of his throat chakra. And what was coming out of his throat? What was coming out of his mouth? Revolution. Okay? The sound of revolution, the language of revolution, the language of innovation, the language of humanitarianism. Okay? This man was sacrificed by the global elite because he was getting ready to bring the United States government on world charges to the world court on charges of the crimes that, the United States committed against people of Moorish descent. Okay, that's why he was murdered. Period. Okay, I think this individual and Muhammad Ali are probably the two most impressive natal charts I've ever seen. Okay, as far as being a spiritual leader. Okay, so like I said, you know, this man was destined to do what he did. His natal chart shows it. You know, this guy basically set the foundation for humanitarians and revolutionaries today. Okay, very, very powerful individual, very, very important person. Okay, like I said, you know, this chart shows every aspect, all 13 aspects of somebody's life. Okay, it took me 2.5 to 3 years to fully understand and interpret how to read somebody's natal chart and how to do it efficiently. Okay, so nothing happens overnight. Okay, as soon as you learn what the houses represent and the energies that the planets hold, you know, it's like clockwork, really. But, you know, it does take some time. Okay, like I said, patience is a virtue. You know, my next video is going to be the power of Jupiter, the power of this planet right here, the power of Jupiter, and how certain people can use Jupiter for good or for bad, but they were destined to have the Jupiter in that house regardless. And I'm going to use Floyd Mayweather as an example in my next video. So stay tuned, people. I appreciate everybody who supported RFG movement, Atlantean movement. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. It's the Chosen One, man. I'm out.